Hi everyone, welcome to Juma this morning. A bit of a grey day. My name is Mark, Becky's on camera, Tara's in final control, and we're already on Sandy Pit because I wanted to start up here in the west and go up to the north, a few loops in this part of the world and see what we can find that's been moving around here since the rain. Join me, let's see what we can find for you today. Just looking for tracks on the road. There's been hyena here, that's about it. There was a big male elephant, big bull, that walked down towards the lodge closer to camp. I'll no doubt try and find him a little bit later. Teaspoon reminding me that I've got to just do something quickly. So, I think this grey cloud will probably burn open. In fact, probably see a bit of blue sky by the time we finish drive today, this morning. Okay, let's see what we can find. Gonna go up Sandy Patch North, and as you know, might get a bit of signal break up there. But that's not to eliminate the possibility of any important animals crossing over from the north. Three species at least that we haven't seen in some time, and I'm starting to think it's about time we saw them. It's about time they made an appearance, at least one of them. See, now there's something I didn't know from the rain, and this must have been recent. There's a big lion track here, a big male. I'll see if I can point the vehicle in the right direction, but this was when it was quite wet. And it goes to show, I mean, this is in the last couple of days. Where's a nice one? We don't really have the right light. There's one there, and then a few going forward from that. Two. Can't measure it. "15 centimeters for the length of the track." Sorry, something in my eye. It's about 6 inches, just under 6 inches, and it's about 4.5, maybe, about 4.5 inches wide. Quite a big lion. But he was here just after our last good rain, which was, I can't even remember, a few days ago. Must have crossed over from, come up Impala Road, maybe. In fact, there was also a bit more rain here than there was further down towards camp. It's one of the basils or wild aniseed starting to grow, and my tires just touched the edge of the road, and very strong smell for this time of day. There are a bunch of those small plants that can be quite hard to differentiate the different species. I think they're Lamiaceae, if I'm not mistaken, the family. Beautiful still morning. Temperature's perfect. Hoping we're gonna find something. It has been it is a little bit of a change in temperature conditions. Does have some impact on animals, but not much. Not as much as when the temperature drops considerably. Giraffe. Unfortunately they're in Buffelshoek 1. Maybe we'll see further up, but we can just get these two for now. It looks like this could be those 3 bulls that we saw recently. Might be more that I'm not seeing, but we did see a group of 3 bulls a while ago, maybe a week ago, and this could be they. Going to turn around at Sydney's Dam and just have a look, see what there is there. With giraffe here, some of the animals I was hoping to find here aren't going to be here. Giraffe are pretty vigilant. Empty of animals. Morning, young man. They were on our side of the road. They must have just crossed. With a combination of those lips and that almost prehensile tongue, a giraffe, the end of its face is almost as dexterous as an elephant's trunk. It's able to manipulate branches and leaves into its mouth. Bye boys, come back soon. You hear? Okay. Morning, Julie C. in Indiana. Wondering why the giraffe, the male's horns, or ossicones, as they're correctly called, wondering why they're bald on top and the females are not. Wondering if it's a means to tell the difference between the two, or if it's just the way they're made. Julie, they're bald mostly because of the amount of sparring that the males do. I suppose there is some genetic predisposition to losing their hair on top of their horns, but it has got a lot to do with the fact that they spar. They punch each other, they swing their necks and they punch each other with their horns in the sort of upper body and neck. I'll get an update shortly. The female's horns are, I guess they're eventually going to become vestigial, and obviously there was a purpose for them somewhere along their history. Who knows? They don't really use them much anymore, so they've got they've got those tufts of black hair on the tips of their horns, the top of their horns. They don't do any sparring, so they don't get bald, as well as, I suppose, genetically slightly different to that of the males.
What's happening here on the house this morning? And then I still have to send across with the partner. And I'm very that picked up in my also copy the Gala.
We turned north instead of south at Sandy Patch. If we'd gone south, we might have found something. So we're going to go back that way. Just check on Gary Main. Induna evidently still on his kill site. We've known him to sit around on an Impala for a couple of days before. Have a look down the road. There's a vehicle down there. Far away. Not a vehicle. It's a tree pushed down over the road. Okay, we're going to go Aubrey's Road, go back to Sandy Patch. Henry, come in.
Guys, good morning.
Good morning, how are you? Good, thanks. How many movers you got on your lock?
Myself now, but we're responding.
Okay, copy. Yeah, I'm on Aubrey's Road. Can I respond? Just come down from Sandy Patch towards Impala Road.
Yeah, if you are on those roads, then that's straight to Palestine. Change direction now, heading towards Palestine.
Okay, copy, thanks. Morning, Gail. Saying that the giraffe that we were looking at was quite pale, blonde even. Asking about giraffe colour. Is it an indication of age? Do giraffes stay the same colour all their lives? That's a good question. It's very hard to actually follow the same giraffe all its life when there are many thousands of them covering such a large area. But there is a tendency for male giraffe to get a little bit darker with age, and the females tend to lighten or get lighter with age. They don't stay the same color all their lives. Not every giraffe is the same color either, much the same as we have blondes and brunettes and redheads. Giraffe, you get blondes, brunettes and redheads too, well, bodies. I've seen a giraffe, must find that photograph actually, that was probably about as dark as a wildebeest. It was chocolate, it was dark, it was as dark as dark chocolate. And the pale patches in between his patterns were also so dark that you almost couldn't see the patterns of the giraffe. And I've also seen males that have been old, that have been almost as pale as that young male. So part of it is genetic, but there is a slight change in colour as they age. But you're not going to tell the sex from the colour of a giraffe. And within one group of giraffe, even if they're all genetically linked, if they're related in some ways, you're going to get different shades of giraffe even within the same family group. And you will still get a difference to some degree in the patterns. Now, if you look at all the different species or subspecies, it's all debatable as to whether they are different species or different subspecies and how the giraffe are actually divided up. One of the things that differentiates a lot of the giraffe are the shape of the patterns of the giraffe, whether they're solid outlines or whether they're ragged outlines, how big they are. I mean, you look at the reticulated giraffe and how distinct the markings are of the reticulated giraffe. I saw something in here. It was an impala. I thought it was an impala. I don't see her now. I was thinking impala in this kind of bush this time of day could mean something. Having said that, I mean, I've seen giraffe here that have a coat pattern very similar to that of the Maasai giraffe. And that was from, hello Pam. Pam was talking to me last night about the coordinates that I gave you. I don't know if you found my house, Pam, with those coordinates. But Pam was saying near my house there's a place called Mark's Treehouse Lodge. And it's also spelt with a C. I should... I suppose nothing I can do about it. But no relation. I haven't been there. It's a very small, privately owned piece of land near a big dam known as Kleseri Dam. It's not within the Greater Kruger Park area. It's in a particular area where there are still fenced off little game reserves, because the landowners, I don't know, they've still got this weird mentality about keeping their own properties. One day they'll open them up. Maybe. I mean, that's part of the whole Kruger to Canyon Biosphere Reserve mandate, is to get all these landowners to agree to open up their boundaries and make a bigger area for wildlife. And Mark's Treehouse Lodge, I don't know, I've never been there. I must go and have a look at it. I was going to have a look at it 2 or 3 leaves ago, because a friend of mine wanted to buy it. If I owned a place like that, I wouldn't have to work. I wouldn't be, I don't know, I would probably still be like to drive around like this, but yeah, I don't own many things in this lifetime other than my little 32-year-old Land Rover and a few books. Morning, Teddy. How are you, Teddy, in California? Whereabout in California are you, Teddy? Interested to know. But referring to that one picture that we have, that we put up on Skype from time to time, amongst all the different pictures that we have, we probably need to change them for the last week or so. Well, I don't know. There's that picture of, I can't even remember if it's Misho and Duna now. One of the boys drinking. Could be Misho, yeah. Anyways, Teddy wanted to know, when they lap at water, does the tongue curl up or does it curl under? Like a cat, domestic, they lap so that it kind of, it's a backwards lap, so it's curling under, not up. I think a dog laps up, curls upwards, if I'm not mistaken. Cat kind of curls under. Oh, I see a raptor in a tree. We're now on Zoe's Road heading south. We're going to go and see if we can see what's happening around Impala Plains. The one we haven't seen for a few days. Waterbuck, what are you doing this way? And kudu. One looking one way, one looking the other way. Quite a few kudu. The big male waterbuck. And who are you? I reckon that bird's got a nest somewhere here. We see it here quite often. I need to get my list out to make sure that I don't have it on the list. Oops. I do have it. Brown snake eagle.
Is it a youngster?
It doesn't look like an adult. It does look a little bit mottled, eh? Did I just hear a branch break?
Yes, you did.
Let's investigate. This is a very interesting view we've got here. We've got a chance to get a view of a big male kudu at just to our left of him, his right. is, so here we have our biggest and smallest antelope in one place, and it gives you an opportunity to see the did you manage to get
Yeah, I don't know.
the little one?
Yeah.
In fact, we can move back and still get her. What I heard breaking with branches, because there's a kudu that's horning some. Oh, there are two kudu bulls fighting out there on the open area. Two youngsters. Let's go and see. Magnificent bull this. I reckon there's a strong possibility. And there's another lovely bull coming along. Two big bulls. There's a good possibility that this group of female kudus, there might be one or two coming into estrus. And that's brought these males along with them, because we don't often get to see, we don't often get to see them, females and males together like that. And I'm hoping I'm not going to disturb. There are three younger bulls here on this little open area, and two of them are sparring. What I might have heard was either their horns clashing, or they're going at it. Could have been their horns clashing, or it could have been that other bull who was twisting his horns around some branches and thrashing some branches. A little bit of displacement behavior perhaps. Maybe just getting a scratch at the base of his horns. I'm hoping they're going to not... come boys, let's just see a little bit of your three-way. The one that's standing on his own on the right now was one of the ones that was sparring. There's the one that's in the middle that's doing most of the instigating. And they're not youngsters, they're just not as big as that other bigger bull. Sorry, Teddy was saying from San Francisco. Look at this bird in the road in front of me. Quickly, Becky. I don't know what's more important, this fantastic bird. Now, we saw this a little while ago, this bird. In fact, there's another one just flown into... Can you? You can't. I hope. It's collecting nesting material. Oh. There's two of them. There's a pair of them here, and they've flown off. Alright, back to the kudu. Oh. Lynn will probably remember. Penny will remember. And a couple of others. RC might remember. Right here, we had this bird in the top of a tree once, and we couldn't quite see it, but it was the only possibility of what it was because of the yellow underneath. These boys are now finished their sparring. Oh. Well, we're going to have to come and look for it again. But it was collecting dried grasses, but very specific, very soft grasses. And that must be for nest lining. Can you still see them when we go forward?
Yeah.
Morning, Christine B. Saying that Teddy is in San Francisco. And it's her mum. And how old a giraffe? Sonoma County. Okay, Sonoma. There's that waterbuck. Look there. Who was it that was confused about waterbuck and kudu the other day? Jojo. No, can't remember. Magnificent bulls. Don't know, did you manage to get the two of them together?
Yeah, it's not a clear shot.
No, it's not a clear shot. You can go back that way. Oh. So those birds are nesting here on this little open area. You only find those birds in open grassland. Oh, and just in case we're confused about another antelope, here's the kudu's cousin on this side of the road, also with a female. Let's have a quick look at him. Bless you. Because I want to go back to see those kudu quickly. Nyala, male and female. We're going to come back past them in a minute. Kudu are making their way into deeper bush. Might get that steenbok and this kudu again. No, he's moving away. And she's not much bigger in her body size. She's not much bigger than his head. Okay, some of those boys are still fighting in the background there, but they're right in amongst all that terminalia, so I'm not going to see them sparring anymore. And these boys are the girls are watching them. The females are watching these big bulls parade. Julie C, I think it was, asking about antelope. Do they go into the thick bushes at night for protection from predators? Because we see them in the open areas. Julian, if you notice the time of day that we see them in the open areas, it tends to be mostly early morning and later afternoon. It's actually the opposite. It's the opposite. They come out into the open. Not all. Okay, no, you've got to. I should have started that answer with it depends, because we can't lump all the antelope together and talk about antelope behavior and have that stand for all different antelope, because it doesn't work that way. But a number of animals prefer to be out in the open at night because it's a lot easier for them to detect danger when they're in the open. The animals that live in, if they were to stay in thick bush, it's so much easier for predators to get them in thick bush, because they can, being dark, predators, especially the cats, can sneak up on them. Whereas with it open and animals that live in a herd, you've got more eyes and ears. Without cover, it's pretty difficult for predators to get close to the prey species when they're out in the open. I'm going to have to move again.
3, 2.
Those boys are slowly coming out of the bushes. The two that are sparring. And now the grass is, we're getting into this thatching grass, so let me go forward. What are you doing, little steenbok? Off she goes again. And then we got, and with her running, she's actually she startled the kudu. Probably because they saw this little beige thing. There we go. Those boys are starting to come out now into the open again. Locked horns. Third one's the referee. He's the older bull. No? One of the opponents pushing the referee out of the ring. The buzzer didn't sound. She'll be penalised for that. I'm not sure. I'm going to try and turn the mic to that direction, just in case, because quite a loud clashing of horns. Henry, come in. I'm still with some Nongo fighting on Zoe's road. If somebody wants to enter that lock before me. And the waterbuck just nonchalantly walks by. In the background. Still grazing. Let me move forward. Fortunate that we don't have a great view of them, because it is interesting to see this kind of behavior. Most of the time we're watching kudu. Of course, sorry. I had the microphone turned, hoping that you would hear the horns clashing, and forgot about that. So I'm going to have to go forward again. Oh, see, no, not the yellow-throated sparrow, another yellow-throated bird though. It was quite some time ago. In the same little open area, and it was probably exactly the same bird.
Yeah. But our vision of this Manyani is not good.
And it's hard enough for us. I mean, if anybody's done any fencing, I've watched it. I haven't tried it. I have a cousin who did fencing, lives in Devon. But And if you think of the movies and sword fighting with one sword, can you imagine controlling two sharp objects against your opponent? Oh, an Impala ram just disturbed them. Impala ram came trotting into the scene. They're also getting disturbed. The female kudu that are around here, every now and then they're jumping around with their tails curled over their backs, showing a white tail, and it probably just catching the corner of their eye, and they break apart like that just in case there is danger. Many predators will take advantage of antelope sparring, and I've not only seen, but I've also seen film of a number of times with either impala sparring and leopard coming out and catching them, or lion taking kudu sparring, a kudu while they're sparring, because they get so engrossed. And you see, here come one of the youngsters, and it's this little bit of behavior that's distracting these bulls. Two young kudus are having a game, and then playing King of the Castle on a termite mound. And that kudu bull, the very big one, would be interesting. Would be something else to see him fighting. The boys are at it again. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. And there's a baby marula tree, probably about 20 years old. And it's only about 4 foot tall. Maybe not 20, maybe a little younger. I've got a marula tree at home because of the lower rainfall that I get there. I've been watching for about 12 years now, and it's about this big. It grows maybe an inch a year. These trees here are extremely slow growing, and I don't think a lot of the guys really realize it when they're off-road and they're just crashing over trees, how long it takes. Here's the nyala. That is quite astounding, actually. We've had 5 antelope in one spot. Nyala, kudu, impala, waterbuck, and steenbuck. Impala, kudu, nyala, waterbuck, steenbuck. Hello, Cindy. Wanting to know if those kudu bulls get their horns locked together like impala do. Seems we must have a lag in the stream again. I think kudu more so than impala because of the spiral of the horns. He's posturing. Karula, as you can hear, is on Impala Plains. We were making our way there because there was only Henry there and Graham was making his way there, but now there are already standby vehicles. Come back to her later. I'm gonna go and crowd her with the other vehicles and standby vehicles, and so actually we'll turn around here. We're going to do a big loop and come back. Hello, morning, King Alan Hewitt. Alan is asking, is it true that the kudu has the highest vertical leap? And wanting to know who has the longest horizontal leap of the antelope. I know, I'd say it's a bit of a toss-up between kudu and eland. I have to be honest, I've seen eland take a 6-foot leap from a standing position, as big as they are. But yes, I think we can actually watch these kudu again, because now they've come out of the bush and they're sparring at that termite mound where the children were playing. At least 5 big bulls here. Except there's just a lot of grasses and trees in the way. So Alan, yes, I think we could. Oh, and I've just seen something else inside this tree. A little bird and its nest. Except it's left its nest. It's climbing through the center of the tree. Are you able to see it?
Can't see it at
No,
the
it's gone to the back of that buffalo thorn now. Would have been a nice one for the list. Go back to the
see it
kudu.
moving around.
Yeah, but we're not going to be able to, unless it comes to the front of the tree. And I'll go forward shortly and I'll be able to, it's gone away. I'll be able to show you its nest. No, not a yellow-breasted apellis. Thanks, Diane. Not a yellow-breasted apellis. A grassland bird. Should be a clue. Hello, Kathy in Oregon. When do kudu and nyala have their babies? What's the gestation period? Are they called calves? For kudu, they're called calves. Nyala, you could call it a lamb. Nyala is that sized antelope that it's the cut-off point. From nyala upwards, we talk about bulls, cows, and calves. From nyala downwards, we talk about rams, ewes, and lambs. Except that nyala, the male is a bull and the female is a ewe. N-U, a ewe. And the young are lambs. Gestation, gosh, I forget. I don't know, 6, 7 months. Most of the antelope are around 6, 7 months. Now, Alan was asking the long antelope with the longest jump. I think I could probably say that we get here Impala. They can jump 30 odd feet in the horizontal. 35 feet maybe. Thanks, Penny. Penny saying kudu the highest, Impala the longest, and Sesame the fastest of the antelope. Thanks, Penny. Amber and Robin also with guesses. I think it was Amber that got it right, but I want to go back there and see if I can see that bird. Put it on the list. It's a special one for the list. Where I grew up, there was a bird sanctuary. We had pink-throated ones. When kudu are like this, I could watch them for hours. See, these bigger boys, well, there's this one behind the acacia next to us here, and he's just a bit hidden for you probably with the camera. I can see him. You see, they already have established their place in this little hierarchy of males. They don't need to prove anything. It's just those three that are similar size that are trying to sort out their differences. There's one of the bigger bulls coming towards them now. They're just giving him a wide berth. He's huge. Okay. Morning, Brent. Have I seen any albino giraffe? No, I have not. I haven't heard of. I know of a leucistic giraffe. When I was in East Africa, there was a white giraffe. It's leucistic, the same way as there's white lion. There was a white giraffe in East Africa, in Tanzania, in the Selous Game Reserve at one stage. It was only ever photographed from the air. Nobody ever saw it on the ground. It was in quite a remote part of the reserve. That was in the late 90s. There have been reports of white giraffe, leucistic giraffe here in Kruger too, but I've never seen one. Closest I've come is that dark one I was telling you about that could almost be considered melanistic. But I don't think he was melanistic. I think it was just a really dark giraffe. And I'll see if I can find that photo and put it on. Actually, I don't know if I can find the photo. That might have been in some of the photos that I lost because it was a long time ago. Speaking of giraffe, there is some more giraffe. One bull. Hello, Jennifer in Toronto. Jennifer's saying she's never seen so many kudu bulls together. Is it the rutting season? Jennifer, giraffe don't really have a rut the way impala do. They do come together like that when females are in estrus. Actually, no, it's not when females are in estrus. They'll come. They spend time together. We've seen a group, this group, periodically. We've often had groups of bulls together, and it's quite normal to see. What isn't as common is to see a group of bulls like this with those females and youngsters, and that tells me that there is possibly going to be some mating going on. I'm just sneaking in here because there are 3 male giraffe, 3 bulls, 3 youngsters. Hello, boys. Now you see, this could be the 3 bulls we saw the other day. These could be these. And the mistletoe's flowering. But this is a marula mistletoe. And would this be... Oh, that could be a vesicum or a Tarcananthus. I must check. Can we get any flowers there? Because I think mostly the Tapananthus mistletoes are red. Tarcananthus is different. And then the vesicum are quite... But they're more on the combretums. Vesicum combreticolia is viscum. Combreticolia is only for the combretums. Page 126. Interesting. Could be that one. Morning, Brighter. I finally figured out Brighter's name, Brian and Teresa. Now, this could be the one that is called Erianthemum. And Erianthemum is Greek, and it refers to the woolly flowers, because those are somewhat, when they burst open, I don't know, could be the Erianthemum. Belongs to the Loranthaceae, but not a specific parasite. It's parasitic on many different trees. Some of the mistletoes are very, very specific of the tree species in which they grow. Let me see. Lorenz 91, Lorenthus. Used to be a Loranthus. Acacia combretum, Matinus, Strychnos and Trichelia. Well, it is on a Matinus. It's actually quite a... there's more of this... In fact, this tree is infested with it. There's more of this mistletoe in this tree than there is this tree up there. So it used to be called Loranthus Dregii. It's now called Erianthemum. I think that's the one. Anyways, Brighter was asking, in 100 meters of driving, how many tree species can we identify? I don't know, probably depends on the habitat type, of course. Because up on the top of the rises, in the sandy soils, it's different. Down in the drainage lines, you probably get a greater variety. And then if you've got a termite mound, you might get 10 species on one termite mound. But that is because animals tend to, like baboon especially, they tend to eat berries and fruits, tend to defecate on a termite mound after they've been sitting there, and that has a tendency to germinate plants in little communities. Oh, and just in case we are wondering where these children are, because we've seen almost everybody else, here's some zebra. Morning, zebra. Here's another flower. Not as profuse as it should be this time of the year. Just this little yellow one next to us. Hello, squirrel. Hello, zebra. This is a raisin bush, also known as a brandy bush. The genus Grewia. Grewia, Grewia. And there are a number of beetles that relish these flowers, but you'd only really see them on a sunny day. We could have a whole insect lesson on a raisin bush when it's in full flower. A lot of them actually eat the petals of the flowers. And you see a little squirrel there? Oh, he's running off. I was hoping he's going to sit in a position where you'd be able to sort of do a focus pull with the zebra behind it, but not quite. Stallion coming to see you, Becky. Lovely dark zebra, this male. Hello, Bonnie. Interesting. Bonnie wants to know if giraffe can get up easily if they fall to the ground. Not really. Not really. When giraffe are lying down on the ground, or when they've got their legs tucked in underneath them. Actually, it looks like these are 3 stallions. These zebra. 3 male zebra, 3 male giraffe. Boys club today. Couple of male squirrels, There's a squirrel poking his head in a termite mound hole. I wouldn't do that if I were your child. And there's one of the male. There's the same male waterbuck that we saw earlier with the kudu. He's coming through behind the zebra now. I think these might be 2 young colts, or maybe it's a female and a young colt. Can't see her, she's behind bushes for me. This other male is not as big as this zebra that we were watching. Well, yeah, on the squirrel in the sickle bush. And there's also a dwarf mongoose in the road that just crossed the road behind the zebra. Lots happening this morning. If the temperature was a little bit lower than it is, we wouldn't be seeing so much. But I think the animals are finding it a perfect temperature. Not hot, not cold. One of the reasons why it becomes fairly easy for lion to kill giraffe is because once they get them on the ground, they subdue them very easily. Oh, he nearly got kicked. That might be his mother, that zebra. And in fact, when the times that I've lived with lion that specialize in giraffe, and the times that I've watched them hunting giraffe, it's been in places where a giraffe is likely to lose its footing, whether it's muddy ground, rocky ground, or down into the riverbeds with the soft sand. Okay. And a giraffe on the ground would have to have its head up, because if a giraffe's head is horizontal, it is in danger of dying. Hello, little boy. You're not even moving away from me. I guess that must be Mom. This must be her son from a couple of years ago. And that's Dad we were watching. You can see she's got a couple of lion scars on her rump. A couple of scratches there that are probably from lion claws. You often find that in zebra that have been around a while. What's wrong, child? Saw something you didn't like? Okay, go. Looks like she's got a couple, I don't know whether it's tear marks or tears. Oh, she's got a couple of serious scars down her face too. And that could have been a cat as well. See how irritable she was getting with that youngster. She wants her space. She almost lashed out at him. She's also got a pretty, looked like could be a pretty heavy scar on her flank there. Karen wanting to know about Africa. Does Africa have the most animals of any I think, is that what the question was, Tara? Does Africa have more animals than any other state? Africa is a continent. But I'd like you to clarify, you mean animals in numbers or different species? In a place like Kruger, funnily enough, has got more mammals than a place like Serengeti. When you think of the Serengeti and the Masai Mara and the big migration and all those millions and millions of animals, there might be millions of animals, but there are actually only really 3 species, with a few gazelles thrown in. Well, the gazelles, the wildebeest, the zebra, I suppose you could say 4 or 5 species that make up that bulk of animals. So in terms of biomass, it's a huge biomass, but in terms of diversity, it's not as diverse as Kruger. I mean, Kruger is far more diverse than the Serengeti. We've got probably 50% more species here than we do get up there. So it's the question has to be clarified whether you're speaking about animals in numbers or different types of animals. And then I'd have to say that South America would probably hold more animals than Africa. You don't have a very nice looking eye there, madam. Something's weeping a little bit. Looks like you had a pretty... I think that's just weeping, not scars. I'm a little bit too close to tell with my binoculars. Looks like she's got a conjunctivitis, and that's just pus that's dripping, running down her face. What are the spots on the legs? Oh, evil dog. Doug, how are you, Doug? Do you mean inside the front legs? Aha. If you're meaning those spots inside the front legs, that's called the chestnut, I think. They are like calluses, like patches. I'm not too sure. Horses have them too, I think. You said so, hey, Becky?
Yeah, they do. I've
And-
heard a theory that it's for when they're lying down to protect, like, something.
Uh-huh.
That's what, but I'm not too sure.
Well, normally when you have something like that, it's normally because you've got one thing rubbing against another consistently, and over time it becomes part. You're born with it. It's like the warthog's calluses on their wrist joints. You're standing like a donkey now.
Doesn't look very happy.
No, she doesn't look happy with her ears pointed back like that. She's sort of resting, dozing. She's not more than about 8 feet away from me. My stomach's suddenly feeling very, very hollow. Don't know why. Looks like there's nice rain falling over Kruger. It's very grey looking to the east over Kruger. Let's see what's happening with Karula. Which station with Karula? There we go again. No, not copying. Can someone relay, please? Look at that. She heard those impala behind her. I guess it's remotely possible that she saw movement out the corner of her eye, but I would say that's her blind spot. She must have heard them walking up behind her. And that's got to be a good, what's that, 60, 70 meters away. Cuckoo. Cuckoo flew over. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. No, the cuckoo flew over my nest. Does that mean I'm cuckoo too? Okay, let us continue. Lillian, why do zebras have such an indentation below their jaws, below both jaws? Just like a horse, that's just where the throat is. I'd have to show you the zebra's skull. I don't think she'd let me go and lift her head to show you. I don't think I'd try. You can try and rub your eye, girl. The way she lashed out at that young male. Temperamental girl. I'm not too sure. Cheryl and Minerva. I'm not too sure what you mean about the stripes not matching. But Cheryl and Minerva asking us being symmetrical. You mean from one side to the other? Or are we talking about this particular zebra? But she's got looks like that scar. That's a scar. She had a huge injury there. And often, very often you might find, I'll be able to point it out next time I see it. But as I mentioned earlier, sometimes you have zebra that have been attacked by lion, and the lion claws tear them open, and when the skin heals, when it knits and it heals, you sometimes get a very distinct discrepancy in how it heals, and you can see how the stripes won't match up. And I don't know if that's what you're talking about, that one patch on her back flank. That looks like that was quite an injury once upon a time. That's the only reason why stripes won't match up, why stripes will look a little bit awkward, is when they've had a very bad injury, most likely from the claws of a cat. And then when it knits back together again, it's not quite the same. But now I want to start up, unless I can roll forward. Let's see if I can. I don't want to start up right in her face. Bye bye, Mrs. Z. Thank you for your company. Have a nice day. Dwarf mongoose popped into a hole. Thinking of Brighter's question about the number of tree species, and I was reading something just recently, and I wish I could remember where it was and what the figure was, but the density of tree species, some part of the world, it wasn't Amazon. I'm trying to think where it was. If I think where it was, I might come up with it.
Come again?
Henry, come in. Are you still with Karula? Okay, I must be my radio this morning. I'm not copying very well. Do you have any update for me there, please?
Not yet. It was only Karula and
Okay, copy. Do you know who's there with the...
yeah, my people was an open dog, but Karula was them.
Thank you. It explains it then, doesn't it? Karen, all animals together. I suppose, I don't know. Karen asking about, does Africa have the most animals? All animals together. In terms of biomass, I suppose yes, because Africa is so much bigger than, I don't know, toss up between Africa and South America, I suppose. But it's still a big question in terms of biomass, in terms of numbers of animals and not number of species. I think South America would win hands down with number of species. Melba Ann, is the mistletoe poisonous? The one that we pointed out. Good question, Melba Ann. Well, the berries of the mistletoe, the only way the mistletoe manages to get from tree to tree is because the berries are very, they edible, they're eaten by birds. I don't know offhand. I think some of them have a latex that could be. There's a hibiscus for you, flower for the ladies. Over here. And a robber flower on the sand. I don't know if this book will have anything on it, but let me just check for you, Melba Ann. While we're looking at this mellow wild hibiscus type. Which raisin bush was that? I forget now. It was a small leaved raisin. Yeah, there are a few. I didn't think to. I'll get to the raisin bush shortly. I've forgotten all my different raisins. Book doesn't really say. And my one book actually says that because it doesn't belong to the genus Loranthus anymore, it's not a mistletoe technique, but it is a mistletoe. Gruias. I reckon that was possibly bicolor. I'm not sure. Oops, sorry. You want to tick plants off on the list. Butterfly from Arkansas. I suppose this is not butterfly Beverly. Beverly butterfly. Is there such a creature called butterfly from Arkansas? No, it's not Beverly. Joan Beverly. A liger. Oh, it is butterfly Beverly. Wanting to know if there is such an animal known as a liger. There is, but not in the wild. Humans have this uncanny ability to mess with nature, for want of a better phrase. And because animals are thrown or thrust together in captivity, where in the wild they normally wouldn't come together, and they are forced to have to make do with each other for company, you get crossbred animals. A liger is a male lion with a female tiger cross, if I'm not mistaken, unless it's the other way around. Because you get a tigon or something, which is the male lion, and
You get sauces as well.
yeah, you get zorses and zebdonks and zebra cross horse, zebra cross donkey, and you get lion cross tiger, tiger crossing with lion. Things that happen that wouldn't happen in the wild, but they happen because these animals are forced together in captivity. So you'll find in a number of zoos or private collections, you'll find these animals that are crossed between a tiger and a lion, or a lion and a tiger. Wouldn't happen in the wild though. Bird flying with nesting material. It's gone. It was a sunbird. Okay. Lee. Morning, Lee. I believe actually Lee might not be able to watch for a while. I think Lee was going in for an op on your tomorrow, Lee. I want to wish you well. Really do. We'll be thinking of you. Morning, Penny. Still not going to say the bird's name, but Penny knows the bird that I was talking about earlier on Zoe's Road, saying that she had a lot of them on the lawn at Telemati one evening. My brain can't get around some of those long questions, because then I start thinking about the beginning of the question, and by the time Tara gets to the end of the question, what I'm thinking about is actually not the question, it's the lead up to the question. So Tara, just have to go with that again with Donna in Nebraska. The termite mounds and the trees. Bash also. Okay, let me get to Donna's in a minute. Let me just start with one first, because you know my brain is not going to be able to hold Donna's question while I'm answering one, or vice versa. But okay, Donna's will lead into Bash's. Donna's Bash's will lead into okay. Bash was asking, what is a termite mound made of, and what do termites eat in Africa? Bash, termites eat the same thing they eat all over the world. They eat dead wood. The function of the termite is to break down plant matter into its smallest components so that trace elements can be returned to the soil to feed the new, or to feed the living plants. Termites do not attack living plant matter. And in the process of termites feeding on wood and
So many squirrels today.
there are a lot of squirrels today, and they're also just running in front of us. Bash, so in the process of feeding on dead wood, the end result of termites breaking down of the wood. Now I have to tell you first of all that out of maybe 100 or something species of termites that we get here, we've only actually got 2 that really build anything that is remotely considered a mound. 2 or 3. The rest of the termites that live here live in tunnels and live underground, and you don't really see their construction, but they still produce the same substance, and they still make tunnels, and they still use the same substance to glue sand together to make these tunnels. And what they do, when a termite is eating wood, it'll digest it, and termites have bacteria in the gut that assist in the digestion of cellulose, which is basically the rigid structure of the cell wall of the plant is made of cellulose, and well, unfortunately it's only really fungi and bacteria that can break it down. And termites, being as small as they are, can chew the plant cell, they can chew the plant material up to a point, but they still need bacteria to be able to break it, that cellulose, down even further, so that termites can take plant matter to its most basic form. And when they've finally finished chewing up whatever material it is that they're chewing, they actually pass that on to the next termite who breaks it down even further, until no more termite can do anything with it, and all that's left is a dark sticky paste. And it is that paste that they use to stick grains of sand together to build tunnels, to build their mounds, and the colonies. And it's a very, very tough substance. It makes a beautiful clay, and in the process, of course, the sun heating it up and baking it makes it even harder. Wishful thinking. A bunch of go-away birds bouncing around in that tree over there, that jackalberry. Just the way one was flying, I was hoping against, well, just sheer optimism that it might have been a purple-crested, a wayward purple-crested Taraka. So, yes, Donna's question now about the termites was, okay, termites with plant growth, are they older, and are they still termites, and will they flatten over time? Speaking of which, here is one with the guari growing out of it. Not necessarily older, Donna, and I would imagine that there's no termites in that one. I don't know, there could be. It's looking pretty whole. It's difficult to tell. I'd have to investigate further, and I'm going to look for some more termite mounds and try and point out to you. But I wouldn't, not necessarily that the ones that have trees growing out of them that are older. The age of the termite mound is determined by the size of it. Now, over time, yes, when you had once upon a time what was a pinnacle, over time would flatten into now all what we can see here, covered in grass because there are obviously no termites and nothing maybe made a burrow into it. All we've got here is like a dome-shaped mound that doesn't have any termites anymore, and it's all collapsed over time.
Boundary and a boundary.
So yes, in every respect, if a termite mound is still active, over time it does flatten, because what happens is they build the pinnacle up, and the pinnacle breaks off over time. It erodes and it breaks off, and over a century you'll find that the pieces that have collapsed onto the sides also erode, and that's what makes makes the dome shape so much more, or so much bigger. And I'm going to see if I can find examples of this. Some of them, they're still termites, the ones that have plants, and some of them there aren't. It depends on whether there's still a queen and whether the colony was still viable. The different criteria that affect termite colonies and whether the colony is still living or not.
Good morning, it's Phil here from Aris. Very large house. Good, thank you. What was the last update from Karula? Anybody guys? Can relay that message to me. Copy the last station 0 out of 5.
Yeah, Phil, I don't think anybody's copying him.
Okay, copy. Thank you very much.
Conveniently. Now, sorry, I was just listening to the radio. A couple of us are trying to get an update on what's happening with Karula, but the vehicle that's there, the radio is not working very well. This is an old termite mound that would have had a pinnacle that must have stretched, maybe, just judging by the base that, or what's left of it, probably another 6 feet up from that. And over time it has collapsed, and that's what made the base so large. But there's also something that dug into it and burrowed into it. But you can see on what is left of the pinnacle at the top, you can see all those chambers, and when you see that, then you must know that the termites no longer live there, because termites can't afford to have their colony exposed like that. So many things that eat termites, that if there were holes like that, termites would get eaten. They'd have to get very defensive. They just wouldn't have the defenses. Wouldn't have the defenses to be able to deal with it. So there's still something red, but it was just a dried leaf. This is what I was looking for. I heard about them at the start of drive, and I was hoping that we would see them. Hello everybody. Hello little girl. You're quite young to have lactating memories already. Ambient law, vulture's nest. You calling me, Andrew?
I'm calling you, man. How are you?
Fine, and you?
So the copy that I got young mother Ingwe on Line Junction, very soon on the boundary.
Negative. Which one is that?
I'm trying to figure out maybe Inkanyeni, I'm sure.
Okay, that's interesting. I'll see, maybe I can make my way there after these law.
Okay, you don't move now, but yeah, I'll keep you up there.
Thanks, Andrew. A young male leopard up on Cheetah Cutline, Firebreak Biffles or Cutline Junction. That could be Inkanyeni's youngster, which means it's a leopard we've never seen. I'm inclined to maybe go and look for him rather than Karula. Hello, Mrs. Ellie. You're a lovely big old girl. Gosh, she's huge. Let me see if I can move in a way that we can see her a little better. And what I also want to show you is this termite mound that's got this big boerbean growing out of it. You can see little one drinking. An unusual opportunity with her head lifted up like that, looking through her legs. I'm going to go forward a bit.
No,
I can.
it's quite a good shot with this
Okay. What are you shaking your head at me for, little boy? Lynn in Canada is saying elephants. I don't think I said anything about elephants, but I do need to tick it off on my list. Thanks, Lynn. She answered me. She's letting little one suckle. Now, I was saying, nice example of a very old termite mound is the one that we've got next to us, and I'll change position so we can see it better in a minute. But it's got a huge scotia growing out of it, and it gives you an idea of how old things get, because the scotia, the tree itself, is almost old, eons ago. Just close the eyes a bit.
Yeah, what I'm not at the moment because the actual bit that I'm trying to get with him suckling is very dark.
Uh-huh.
So I want to just keep everything as light. So that's kind of the bit that's... Yeah, I'm gonna change it. No.
Okay, let's go back a bit. Oh, he's going to push that knob thorn. Do you have to? Let the little one feed on the leaves. That was a nice knob thorn, Mrs. Elephant. Well, I guess we'll have to move. Have you had a look at this yet? Termite mound with the big boar bean.
It's on it now.
Okay. Just trying to fix this antenna on this radio. It's not looking good. Anybody who's ever worked with these handheld radios knows that one of the most common mistakes people make is that they carry them by the antenna and then the antenna breaks. And it's probably also because they use the wrong stuff for the rubber coating of the antenna, and when it gets so hot, of course, what happens is the rubber gets brittle. Insulation tape, short of duct tape. Insulation tape, second best. Wrong channel. Again. We both do that. Hello Jody, New Mexico. What function do the wrinkles serve in the elephant's skin? There's a good question. I don't know, Jody. What function do the wrinkles serve? Might have some thermoregulation function. Looks like some of those others came up to feed on that knob thorn she pushed over. But they can't because she's still on it. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to go and see a leopard we've probably never seen before. We're going to try to, at any rate. The sky's getting a bit grayer. So much for it's burning open by the time I drive. Oh, that sounds like the little boy that was screaming the other day. Nice herd of ellies. We'll come back this way on our way home and come and see them. Wow, there's lots of them. Huge. There you go.
Yeah, it's not the sun is up in the sky now, so I'm gonna leave it for not so long, you know. It's up in the April leafy tree. Just drive along the 5 rack, you know, that's called the Leopard road, and then join the 5 rack and then keep the right side, drive along the 5 rack.
Okay, thanks Andrew. Yeah, I'm on Vulture's Nest. I'll try and get up there as soon as I can.
Okay, I'll also leave the platform.
Okay, thanks. Is he quite relaxed?
Yeah, so it's going to come down again. But he's going to lullaby there now, but he's going to move when I'm there until he gets.
Okay, thanks. So I reckon our best bet is to go up Hyena Road, as bumpy as it is, straight up to the cut line. Station's leaving a lock over the Slumbered Love on Vulture's Nest, heading towards the Torchwood. Hello Bets. If an elephant stood on a termite mound, would it crumble down? No, they're pretty strong, Bets. Hello Bets, nice to hear from you. I don't know. I was actually thinking about you right now, thinking Bet's probably going to shout at me for leaving the elephants. But for good reason, Bets, most of these termite mounds are very, very strong. And although they're kind of honeycombed and they've got lots of chambers and tunnels, you find elephants standing on them a lot when they're feeding on, especially now going into summer. Well, I was going to say we ought to see it, but we're not going to see it. Forget. Because there's a particular type of grass that grows on the termite mounds that they like. Of course, that little pinnacle, that's a different story. If an elephant if you get a very high pinnacle on a termite mound, they can be quite brittle. Karen wants to know what age baby elephants are weaned. Oh, there isn't really an answer to that. Well, I suppose you could say probably around the age of 2, but the thing is, even young, 18 months, 2 years old, the thing is that when a young elephant, after it is technically weaned itself, and it's as mother falls pregnant again, and when mom lactates again, you'll find even a 5-6-year-old drinking because mom is lactating. But it's like humans, you know, there isn't a very set time. Some itchy nose this morning. Some of them stay on milk a little bit, well, some of them still suckle longer than others. Morning, Phyllis, and a very interesting question. Should I say shalom, Phyllis? And the question is generally about, well, essentially about the survival rate of the calves versus the age of the mother, and how does that correlate with regards to young mothers, the survival rate of the calves with young mothers. The thing is, and perhaps is that even a narrowly young cow will have I thought I was going to get this. Going to force us back, but we're going to try and get to see this leopard. He's up in a tree. Hello, buffalo. Goodbye, buffalo. Andrew's leaving him. I hope he's still going to be there when we get there. But Phyllis, the whole thing about elephants, let me trying to find a way to explain this, is that the survival rate of the youngsters that are born to young still black screen. To go into it. Oh schön.
John.
Gut. Wonder why he is here. Hi.
On the other side there, but
Okay. Okay. I don't know how long I'm going to last, but this I have to switch my equipment off.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Otherwise, enjoy. Up in the, I think
Leopard.
Yeah.
Vulture's Nest. Nice family. Lots of my people.
Alright, thanks. Enjoy. Thanks.
Bye. It's raining. There was a vulture. Yeah. We're gonna have to. Okay, we're gonna try and get to see this leopard, and then I'll have to see what the rain's gonna do. Not good. Especially because my hat. Oh, my books. My camera. Camera doesn't matter. It's the books. I was watching this and I was watching it getting darker and grayer. My hat, my books, my binoculars. Yeah, we will be getting a lot of rain on the camera, I'm sure. We're gonna have to just wait until we stop at the Leopard.
I'm not going to bother wiping it until we stop.
We're gonna have to. We like here. We just got to hold on for just 2 minutes because we're gonna have to switch off any minute now. But we've just got to be able to see this leopard before we do that. Okay, somewhere up here. There's an apple leaf tree with a young leopard in it. There's an apple leaf. It's a very small apple leaf. Surely that can't hold a leopard. There's the bigger apple leaf. That must be it up there. Yes, I see a cat in a tree. He's tiny. He's much smaller than I thought. I wonder why he's in such an awkward tree too. Okay, Willis. It's very dark. Hello, little one. We've got a good view there.
Yeah, it's fine. The other lens.
Okay, getting very wet, folks. As much as I regret to say this, we're going to have to close off in a minute. Try and hide all my toys from the rain. What sort of view of him have you got?
Not too bad.
As long as you got a good shot of him. This has got to be only about 6 months old. Half the size of the other two. I haven't seen Inkanyeni. The last time I saw Inkanyeni was probably about 2.5 years ago. We haven't seen her at all. And this is obviously the first time we're seeing her cub. But the camera's getting wet, and I'm sorry to have to say, but I'm going to have to shut off the inverters and the camera and cover it all up, folks. So I'll try and get to further south. There might not be rain further south, further west. If there is, I'm going to have to head back to FC, and I'll try and chat to you when I get to FC. But for now, We actually managed to get to see a leopard we've never seen before, and that's a pretty good feat. We'll go to Karula later. So bye for now, and we'll talk to you soon. Tara, can I switch off? I need to switch off.
Hi everybody, this is Tara in Final Control. Unfortunately, I was so amazed at the blue eyes of that leopard, I just forgot what I was supposed to do as director, just for a short moment. But please do try and join us, do stay with us. Hopefully Mark can get beyond where the rain is. We have to cover everything up. We've got a blue sheet to cover everything up, and the camera does have to be covered as well. Unfortunately, if we get any moisture really into the camera, that means game over completely. So we do have to be very careful when it comes to rain and things like that getting into the equipment. But beautiful, beautiful blue eyes. Inkanyeni's son, and while we were sat with Nduna, we heard that they had Inkanyeni on the fire break, but as I heard it, it sounded like she was heading towards Torchwood. So unfortunately we weren't able to have a look yesterday, but at least we were able to have a look today, and at least seeing Inkanyeni's son, quite amazing. Those beautiful blue eyes. I wonder if he's going to keep those blue eyes right on into adulthood like White Cloth and Mvula have. So here's hoping, hey? Keep your fingers crossed. But yeah, I'll keep in touch with Mark, see what's going on. I'll let you guys know. Hopefully, as I say, we will be able to cross back live to the Gunda very shortly. Otherwise, Mark will make his way back to have a chat with you.
Hello. Good morning. Gosh, look at the time already. We just had so much to do. But hello, everybody. Mark here, NFC. And, well, the rain has kind of stopped over here, but it doesn't help us very much because the vehicle's on charge already. And a couple of things. Becky has had to go back to Thornybush. She's got some personal things she has to deal with. So Jaco and Nikki will be here this afternoon helping out with directing, and Tara will be helping me on camera. And we'll see how it goes. I think tomorrow it's going to be a little bit of a disruption in things, because I think tomorrow morning we might have to cancel the drive. Anyways, I see there are a bunch of questions that Tara has marked for me in the inbox. Hope you can all hear me. I see also Tara is still signed in on chats. So if I type anything in chat, it'll come up as Tara. Like the yes I typed on Ustream. I don't know why it is. When Tara managed to get on Ustream. I tried yesterday, reloading it 100 times. I couldn't get onto Ustream. But good morning, everyone. And welcome. How is that little leopard? Hello, Lisa Osborne. Haven't heard from you in a while. She only has the one cub as far as I know, Lisa. Inkanyeni. I think she had two. One was killed. I think she had a male and a female, if I remember correctly. Heather. Well, because Heather, maybe you're the only one that can understand this, but I have to go and have blood tests. I tried to do it last week, but I was kept waiting for over an hour and a half at the hospital trying to get to see the lab, or to see somebody to get to the lab, and then I had to leave there because they then wanted to put me through a 3-hour process of filling in forms, and I couldn't wait for that. And then I went to find a doctor to see if he would draw blood, and he kept me waiting for over an hour. And by the time it came for me to start heading back to camp, because I had to come on drive, it was also too late to have blood tests because, well, I can only have blood tests done early in the morning before I take my medicine and before I eat anything. And I have got to do that tomorrow. I haven't had blood tests for way too long now. I'm in trouble. And I'm really putting myself in serious danger here. I've been putting the job first, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but under the circumstances, my life has to come first right now. So I'm hoping everything's still okay, but I'm starting to get worried about a few things. So where am I? Juma Mail. Sick animals like me. Linda in Akron, Ohio. We don't carry guns with us. No, we don't. What if an animal was sick or had rabies and would try to charge you? Could you carry mace for your safety? Have you ever had an animal charge you? Hello, Linda. Well, to answer your questions, mace is a good idea. Pepper spray actually can be quite effective against animals. And it might be a good idea to carry the likes of a good pepper spray. I used to actually walk with a pepper spray in East Africa, besides the rifle, but I never had to use it. But that could help. I just pity the animal. But it's far better than a bullet, I have to admit. And I believe it's helping people in bear country nowadays, carrying the likes of pepper spray. But an animal doesn't have to be sick or have rabies to try and charge. Animals have moods, and animals have personal zones that they don't like intrusions on. They don't like to have their space invaded. So sometimes animals do get a little bit aggressive. In the vehicle, well, it's a different story. In the vehicle, animals charging in the vehicle is not too much of a problem. It's more a case of having that problem on foot. But we don't go out on foot on this program, so we don't have to worry. Oh, that's not a question. Just do that and send. Right. Back to Linda. Oh, that was Linda, and that was that question. Next one from volcanoes. Terry, hello Terry, New York. Volcano in Africa has erupted. It has? Oh, okay. Don't think of Africa as having any volcanoes. Are there many of them? Any in your area that would affect the animals? None here in South Africa, Southern Africa at all, Terry. Up in East Africa, Central Africa, mostly along that belt. There have been active volcanoes in... Well, active. They're bubbling calderas in Tanzania and Kenya. I lived in quite volcanic region in southeastern Kenya. In fact, it's probably some of the youngest lava flows in Africa. But I'm not too sure which volcano you're talking about that has erupted now in Africa. Interesting. It could be one in Ethiopia or Somalia. I must check. Let's see quickly. Volcano eruption. (1985) Congo eruption. 19. I guess I need to be more specific. Hawaii. 2008. That one is. Okay. You know what? Maybe I can go to chat. Somebody might be saying something in chat. Anyways, I'll have a look a little bit later about that volcano. In the Congo, thank you, Danny Stray. And Phil. Jumbo Phil. Asante Buana. Okay, so there's a volcano in the Congo that's erupting. Okay. Well, it'll affect life the way it does everywhere. I mean, it depends on how serious it is erupting, of course. Next, Linda, elephant wrinkles. I thought so. That's quite interesting. Thanks, Linda. Just saying that the wrinkles on the elephant help to help with thermoregulation. It makes more surface area so that there's more area to cool down, as well as those wrinkles trap moisture, and it takes a lot longer for the moisture to evaporate in the wrinkles. Wrinkly elephant keeps cooler for longer than it would with smooth skin. Thank you very much, Linda. Penny, crew goes 336 trees, 49 fish, 34 amphibians, 114 reptiles, 507 birds, and 147 mammals. Thank you, Penny. Still not sure whether that question was about how many mammal species and whether it's total mammals species or total individual animals. David, Washington, USA. David Bothell. Is Bothell a town, David? Named after you? I don't know about that one. I can't answer that question. If we'll be able to find any replay of some of the Juma drives on the internet after the drives are discontinued. Well, I know there's a lot of stuff on YouTube, but I haven't the faintest idea. I think you'd have to contact Wild Earth in that regard. The Wild Earth crew will be able to, maybe Pete Brat or Graham will be able to help you with that. I have no idea. Kimberly, happy birthday, Kimberly. Obviously couldn't get to that. If you're still here, Kimberly Moore Smith, happy birthday to you. Before we get rained out. Sadly, I was so busy trying to get to that leopard and trying to see. How was that leopard, by the way? I mean, first time we've seen the second new leopard we've seen, or the second unknown leopard we've seen in a week. Add 2 more leopards to the list of leopards that come into Juma. That's quite interesting, because you will never find a piece of land as small as Juma that has so many leopards that visit it. Hello, Joe. Nice to hear from you. Joe's, I think, maybe answering Tara's question. Joe, I don't know, maybe you didn't get my email. I answered your email about your Ellie. I do love those copper, those plates that you make. I really do. I believe you're going to be coming out this way, spending time with Penny, lucky Penny. So let's see. Next question, please. Before I go pop into chat. Got to pop into check. So Ustream, hello everybody. I'm a narc now, am I? Oh, there's a new ad on Ustream. Looks fun. What is that? Happy Feet 2. Sequels. So yes, Narc is not going to be here tomorrow morning. But Becky, somehow she has some personal issues that have suddenly arisen, and she has to go back to where she's been staying, a place called Thornybush, with her boyfriend. And that's about it for Ustream. Why does Ustream chat keep jumping like that? Wild Earth, hello everybody. Brian and Brighter and Brian and Teresa. Liz, yes, I'm on audio, but then I suppose, Liz, if you can't hear me, then you're not going to hear that. No, I don't need to take much for my blood test. You know, normally what I do for blood tests, I just walk into a lab, I fill in the form, it takes me less than 5 minutes. Walk into a lab, fill in the form, go to the back room, nursing sister draws the blood, and I walk out. But unfortunately, that's where there are bigger towns and there are laboratories. Unfortunately, in smaller towns like that I have close by, There are no laboratories, and to get them I've got to go through the whole rigmarole of actually seeing a doctor, which I don't need to do. A doctor's not going to help me. A GP, I'm going to have to tell him more than he's going to be able to tell me. But it's the bloods that are going to tell the story. Next question, please. Oh, I see there are quite a few coming through. But it's 8:30, it's time to go. Bye. Rafi, shalom. Amazing to see so many individual leopards. When we come back, can I tell you a bit more about Inkanyeni? That's more or less how you spell a name. I think there's an I in front of the N. I think her mate was Yambile Jordan. I think she had 2. And, well, her territory is mostly in the north, and it's very unusual to have the youngster come this far south. So there's not really much I can tell you, Rafi. You don't know much about Inkanyeni at all. She's the daughter of the beacon female, if I'm not mistaken. There's a big trig beacon up on Buffelshoek. I guess there was a female leopard that lived around there, and she was known as the beacon female. I remember seeing Inkanyeni around Sydney's Dam, Sandy Patch area when I first got here. Problem was we didn't really get much of a signal there at all. At least nowadays we get a little bit of a signal there, but it doesn't help us much. One of my first... forget now. I remember I was with Peter Pretorius on drive one day up there trying to get a view of Inkanyeni. And the signal was so bad. Sharon wants to know if there are any... This is Sharon in Tampa in Florida. Songbirds in South Africa. Just wondering if you have anything similar to our mockingbirds, which sing like crazy but don't seem to have any specific call. Well, yes, we have lots of songbirds. In fact, the majority of our birds are known as songbirds, or what we call the passerines. We do, yes. I mean, I can hear one now. One of the robins. Phyllis. Oh. Seems that maybe Phyllis didn't get my answer earlier about the age survival thing with the elephants. That's interesting. I've just come online on Skype, but I'm not on my computer and my computer's not on. That's very interesting. You know how when you got Skype and somebody signs on, you get a little square that comes up and says somebody's online? Oh. Very interesting. My laptop's supposed to be closed. Could I try the early question? Phyllis, the young female's success, or rather the survival rate of calves born to young females is just as good as those of older females because of the whole matriarchal system of elephants, and that a young female invariably is not only with its mother, who would be the grandmother of its calf, but also probably older sisters and aunts and things. So it has this huge support group of older elephants around it to help it with the calf. But the calf also has this support group of elephants to help it survive. And that's why we see when we see a breeding herd, that's why we see more youngsters than we see adults. It's because they do have, here in Kruger at any rate, they do have a very good survival rate. Excuse me. The success of an elephant population can be gauged by the variety of ages within a small herd of elephant. And when you get a variety of ages, you know that they've had a very good few decades of breeding, of raising children. And it's a very good indicator of their survival rate, is seeing how many children there are in a herd. And here in Kruger, they're doing exceptionally well. Mitzi, not really health problems. It's just that I have got to take care of things that I've been neglecting because we've been a small team and I haven't been able to do it. But it's reached a point now where it's getting quite critical. Linda. Okay, this thanks. Nice email there from Linda in SoCal, Southern California. Luke in Quebec. Thank you, Luke. Email Discovery Channel in Canada about the show. No. Although some of the people at Discovery do know about us, they have seen us. We have had contact. Thank you, Lynn, Canada, giving me a link to the... see, it's becoming a tourism boost for Congo, having a volcano eruption. Nyamulagira. Helps double visitor numbers to troubled Democratic Republic of Congo. I didn't know there were that many visitors going to the Democratic Republic of Congo in the first place. Because of all the war that's been going on. Gee, it's quite a... Virunga opened its first tourist lodge. And of course there are the gorillas there. Thanks, Lynn. I shall read that shortly, later. Pete is online. Morning, Pete. Don't know if Pete's watching. Thank you, Laura. And that's Laura Curran, not Laura Finland. Rose has seen videos of herbivores being attacked by big cats and ignoring them, continuing to eat foliage. Saw a young impala trying to make friends with an attacking leopard. Yes, really? Animals can be friends with other species. Is it possible that because they are herbivores, they don't understand the cats want to eat them, and that's why they ignore them? I don't know how to answer that, Rose. I've never seen that before. No, actually, I'm wrong. I have. I've seen impala and giraffe ignoring lion because lion is sleeping on their backs under a tree with full bellies, and the animals tend to know that the lion are not in hunting mode and that they're full. But, Rose, every herbivore knows exactly what a predator is. There are certain things that are important in that regard. I mean, the fact that predators have their eyes on the front of their face is one of the things. And eye contact in nature is such an incredibly important facet of our lives. When you see something and you see, well, when an animal sees a predator looking at it, it knows what that predator's intentions are. So I'm not too sure which videos you've been watching where it looks like the impala wanted to make friends with the leopard, but I'll have to have a look at that. Thanks, Joanne. And Donna in New York. Do you know where you'll be going after Juma? Do you think Juma safari will ever come back, or is there another safari elsewhere? Hello, Donna in New York. I think Donna might be new. I don't know what Tara's going to do, Donna. I haven't really chatted about it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going home to the Timbavati. I'm going to be consoled by my elephants over there. I'm going to photograph flowers and insects the whole summer long, every single day, and hopefully figure out some form of plan of what my life is going to be. In the meantime, I'll probably be writing to different organizations and things and seeing. I don't even know what I can do right now. I'm not going back into the lodge business. There isn't another safari like this. It's not like I can approach another company and say, oh, I've been doing live drives, because there isn't anybody else that does this kind of thing. I might like to stay with the whole filming kind of thing, but there's not many companies that are doing it. So, I don't know. It's not a question easily answered either. Something we have to wait and see. Kian wants to know, if the safari shuts down and later someone will help fund it, will they be able to get a hold of you all? Well, I'll be available. I'm not going very far. I will probably be seeing Yuri and Pippa in Hoedspruit on a regular basis. I always bump into them in Hoedspruit. It's not a very big town. When I'm there shopping, I suppose I'm going to have to go to town at least once a week throughout the summer to do some shopping for groceries and things. I don't have that much fridge space. I suppose I could last 10 days to 2 weeks at a push. But yes, they have our phone numbers, and I certainly hope that Wild Earth does contact me if they do anything. I have put 3 years into this. I would hope that it's taken into account if they decide to do something else. Manishma Rafi. Yes, thanks, Rafi. I did get your email. And yes, it'd be nice to meet you if I do come to Israel. Got a bar mitzvah to go to next year. Hello, Moira. Thank you, Moira. Moira's just paying me a huge compliment, saying I'd make a great replacement to David Attenborough. Well, maybe, Moira, maybe you can find somebody in the BBC for me to contact. I'd love to get into that kind of thing. My biggest problem is I do well on a live presentation. Somehow my brain works that way. And there have been times, especially last year when we were doing, or earlier this year, when we were doing a lot of voiceover stuff and we were doing a lot of post-production things, there were times we needed to redo a couple of shots, like a couple of openings of the drive, or there was the promo that we did where I had to write a script for a few things and say a few lines. Like, Wild Earth is so proud to be, what was it? Partnering with Ustream and you know that promo? I can't tell you how many takes it took to get that right, because it was something that I had to, even if it was a one sentence to the camera, I would mess it up because my brain can't get around trying to remember things and talk at the same time. In terms of a rehearsed line, somehow it put me in, as soon as the camera goes live and I'm there and there's a subject on my mind, then I can talk and it seems to be fine. It's having to follow a script that I find very difficult, and that's why recorded stuff doesn't really work for me. I don't know, maybe I can work on it, but my memory retention is not that great. Thank you, Laurie. And that's another email from Laurie in California saying how difficult it is going to be for all of us. Well, we do have social networking, and that is one way to keep in touch. I will be going to Motswari every now and then. I'm lucky to have friends who own Motswari, and lucky enough, at least I hope. The thing is, I can't really impact on the guests' visit at the lodge too much. But either early morning when they're out on drive or in the late afternoons when they're out on drive, I'll be able to go to Motswari, which is only 7 kilometers from my house, and get onto the internet there. I will try and do the odd bit of internet from my deck at home, but that's through a 3G connection. It's a very, very slow connection. I could maybe answer an email or two, but I wouldn't be able to do Facebook and stuff. Also, I've got to really somehow sort my computer out. It's still not good, and I haven't been able to do anything because I'm still trying to save all the stuff I've got on it before I have it reformatted, but it looks like it has to be. So back to chat. It's getting time to say goodbye soon, so I'm just going to try and scroll back in chat and see whether I can find anything that I need to refer to or comment on. But I will let you know about tomorrow morning's drive. We'll talk about it later this afternoon and see what we can do about it. But for me to be able to go to town and do what I have to do and get back in time for PM drive, I would have to leave here at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Talking about songbirds like mockingbird who mocks other birds and other noises, not just songbirds. Yes, we do. I mean, we have one of the greatest mimics is the Natal robin, and it's been known to mimic barking dogs. It's been known to mimic fish eagles. Here we have the fork-tailed drongo. That's the great, because we don't. I mean, I have had a Natal robin outside. I've seen one outside FC the other day while I was directing. There was a Natal robin here, but they are not as common here as they would be down Penny's way. And here, our songbird, our mimic is the fork-tailed drongo that has the ability to mimic other birds, and they will do that to be able to chase off other birds out of their territory. So they'll sound like, say, a pearl-spotted owl, and other insect-eating birds will flee the area, and the fork-tailed drongo will have its territory clear of competition. So I'm going to try and scroll down again. I hope that answers the question. Thanks, Donovan. Just for Bolts fan. Oh, that was your question, yes. Wildlife gal. I'm seriously thinking of doing that. Wildlife gal saying I should use this time to write. I do write. When I'm at home, I do write a lot. And I'll try and put it into some sort of... I don't know, I'll see how much I can get done. I'm going to have to be looking for a job, though. Okay, it's almost impossible to scroll back on Ustream, because even though I'm trying to hold it in place, it just keeps jumping. No, that's about it. There, Sabrina Lee put up link to Motswari. What color were the cub's eyes? I couldn't see the cub's eyes. My glasses were completely rained over. I tried to look through my binoculars and it was so dark. I mean, Becky did a great job lightening up the picture so well, but I have to be honest with you. I tried to look with my binoculars. I was more concerned with trying to keep everything covered from the rain. I barely even looked towards that young leopard as much as I wanted to, but at one moment it was starting to rain quite heavily, and I was just making sure that everything was staying relatively dry. So you stream Wild Earth Chat. Snail mail. I'm going to have to get a new post box because I'm not going to be able to come to Slivokani to this post box. So I'm going to try and get a post office box in Hoedspruit. I think Tara has a post box in Hoedspruit, and I might take that over from her. And let's see, just going back in Wild Earth Chat because I know I've neglected you a little bit, but let's see what we have there. But I'm going to say goodbye to you all. I'm starving. My tummy's hollow. I've been up for 4.5 hours already, and I want to go and get breakfast. It's what I call FDA this time of day, Food and Drug Administration. I need to have my meds and my food. My muesli and Somehow the Kardashians came into conversation there. Don't know what that was about. Thank you. Everybody's giving me compliments about things. My memory retention. Jody. You're right. It has to come out in my own words. Lisa, my computer's still, it's only just over a year old, and it was a gift from a number of viewers. But sometime a few months ago, I woke up one morning and it wouldn't switch on, and then all of a sudden I've wanted to take a baseball bat to it a number of times. I've had to restrain myself. I've had to put myself in a straitjacket to stop myself from doing it. Because everything I do, it goes into not responding. I get this opaque screen and then this little thing in brackets that says Skype is not responding. Windows Explorer is not responding. iTunes is not responding. Media player. Yeah, you get the picture? And then I wait 20 minutes. And then I click once and it says not responding. Or if I have to type a message in Skype, I type it and I can go and make a cup of tea, and when I come back after making a cup of tea, I can see one letter by one letter starting to appear on the screen. It's almost like there's a ghost in the machine. Thanks, Rose, sending me a link to a video of the Leopard and the Impala. Actually, that's a good idea, Ed. We can just chat. I'm sure Tara will chat to you tomorrow morning. And still scrolling down. Good night, Linda Jensen. Thanks, Linda. And Kathy in Oregon, have a great day. Thank you, Heather. Hope you're doing well, Heather. And yes, otherwise there's people saying goodbye. And, well, good night, everybody. You're all going to bed too now anyway. Sure, a lot of you are going to be going to sleep soon. Chewy. Hey, Chewy is here. Heather, can we see the rhinos before the end of drives, please? Yeah, take it back to the store, send it back. Yes, well, it's not under warranty anymore. But the problem is when you send a computer like that to a store, they just reformat the hard drive, and then I lose everything. And what I need is a hard drive, external hard drive, so that I can save all my photographs. I don't want to lose. I've got elephant photographs on there that I can't afford to lose, and of course all my remarkable creature stuff. And I'm just desperately trying to get something to save it on, and then I don't mind. Then they can reformat it and put it back to factory standard and whatever they do, and hopefully it's all fine. Okay. I'll go 8:52. Peggy, am I in a position to retire, or must I work? Gee, I wish, Peggy. I must work. I don't have what they call it, a 401k thingy. Fortunately, that's why I can't write, is because to write I need just to spend time in my space doing so, and I need to be able to still pay off all my medical and stuff. And because that's so expensive, I have to work every month. Tara in Minnesota, thanks for your email. I'm just going through these last few emails and then I'll say goodbye. I'm saying you sent emails to Ellen DeGeneres. That'll be interesting. And there, Rose sent the video. I'll have a look at that shortly. Thank you, Rose. I'll put a little star on that one. Lynn. That's a good point, Lynn, but I've got probably a couple of 100 gigs worth of stuff. Lynn's saying that if I'm concerned about saving stuff, I should send selections to different people until the computer's fixed. But unfortunately, it's with the several gigs worth. I just need a hard drive. I'll figure it out. Tara said the eyes were blue. Thanks, RC. I believe so, from that Leopard. I didn't see that. Jack Lemons. Sleep well, Jack. Thanks, Laurie in California, giving me the name of Ntaba Tours, Robin, who's an ex-South African. And the last email that I'm going through is the picture of the Leopard on Junkies for me to see it. Thanks, Josie Jones. I did actually see it just as I came in from drive when we brought the camera and the radios into FC. Tara was paging through, I think it was the Juma site with some pictures posted. Well, I'm going to concentrate on breakfast and clearing the cloud in the sky for our afternoon drive this afternoon. So do take care. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all your letters and concern, and well, just thanks everybody. It's nice knowing I've got this huge extended family out there. We're not going to be parting company. We will still be keeping in touch over the years. So thank you all and take care. See you later. Bye.